all the tools that I used in the code, like that actually helped me how to think as a developer. This is going to be a lifetime investment, like one-time investment. You to become a Salesforce developer in the long run.
Hello, Salesforce Ohana. Walters954 here, and I'm going to talk with a Cloud Code member, Raghavendra, who has completed the program and is going to be giving his feedback on what the program was like, the good, the bad, and the ugly, so that you all can get an idea of what it's like to go through Cloud Code and if it's worth it and if you actually learn anything going through the program. So Raghavendra, please, introduce yourselves, tell us, where you're working at or what you're doing, and we can kind of go from there.
Yeah, thank you for having me here. I'm Raghavendra. Hello all. I have been like Salesforce admin for a very long time, and like I'm currently working as a Salesforce and admin developer. Along like coming to me, like I hail from India and all my education, my career started there, and I recently like 2 years back I moved to USA for greater, for better profits and Salesforce ecosystem especially, and I'm loving here everything. And yeah, thanks to the Cloud Code Academy, it helped me to transition myself from admin to developer.
So that's really great, and I'm glad to hear that you're working on dev type of role and actually jumping into Salesforce, which is really great. And a lot of people, as they're going through the program, they have different goals of either passing the platform developer one certification, getting a Salesforce developer job, or even getting promotions from like an admin to a senior admin, just because you can understand those types of things. So I know that those are kind of the three main buckets that we see people joining the program from. But I'm curious, what were your goals for joining Cloud Code?
To be frank, like I have been trying to learn development before joining this course through YouTube and free resources, and sometimes like I tried Udemy also. But one thing I always lagged is like the difference between the Cloud Code Academy and the other things is like in-person, one-on-one feedback. That I really loved it, and that too from professional build and like senior Salesforce engineers like Tony, Chase, Bruce, and like you're also available all the time for us. And the other thing is assignments. Like I had to be keep myself accountable in terms of submitting or if I'm writing code. Like writing code is something that should be done regularly when you want to become a developer. So as an individual, like I can't do sometimes. Like I have to push. Like that's not possible all the times. Like me as a human being with all these assignments, deadlines, me getting feedback, they're really good. And one more thing, which I shouldn't be saying here is, the people, the set of people who aspire to become developers, who want to learn, like, if like as an individual, like I may not be able to find all of them in the LinkedIn or, in my friends circle. So that is one place like where I want to, meet people and collaborate with them, learn from them. These are the main three reasons why I want to join Cloud Code Academy, and I think it is accomplished.
Yeah, really bringing that community together was something that I was trying to do. You all have taken it to the next level with helping each other out while volunteering and doing other like little meetups and workshops to help focus in on individual topics. Like that's really making this community great. But I've mentioned it multiple times, right? When I started Salesforce, which is almost like 10 years ago now. I'm kind of dating myself. Back when Salesforce Classic was around, there wasn't really as big of a developer community that people could kind of join and talk and get motivation and help from each other. So when the idea of Cloud Code came around, I really wanted that to be a big part of how the program was built and the ideas around the program. And it's totally possible to go the self-paced route, right? Doing it yourself, or buying, $10 Udemy courses, watching things on YouTube. It's possible to learn that way, but there has to be a lot of like self-discipline, self-motivation. And if there's external factors and a lot of things going on, it can be hard to really stay on track with those items. But we try to allow people to have that guidance and accountability through this
Yeah.
program with a lot of the one-on-ones and the assignments and everything like that to really make sure that you are staying on track and learning at a pace where you'll get done, and by the end of it you can hopefully grab a developer job. So I think that's an interesting question for you, right? Like you've now gone through the program, completed the capstone project, and you found a developer job. Can you kind of talk through that process of, are you confident now in your job? Like what was the job hunt like for you? How are you feeling in this new role that you have?
So first thing first, there are a lot of developer job opportunities. That's one best thing compared to the admin when we are hunting for jobs. And then practicing the code really helps me because I'm not just talking about or bluffing about like the text basic things that we do theoretically. So I did practice and we can talk them in terms of real time scenarios, explaining them. For example, if I take a thing, in order to avoid the DML operations in terms of including the software queries in a for loop, like which I might used to do before joining the cohort because I don't find other reasons. But when I joined this and I did the in my first assignment, like I did the same thing and I got knocked by Chase. This is not how you should be doing. You might try to do with using maths. There are a lot other ways. So anyone can like, just learn something, few things. But become a good developer, following the best practices so that like you don't hit by the corner limits or recursions regularly. You have to be good developer. So for that, this is the place where it helped me. Even after the cohort, it became a habit for me to practice code. Before that, like VS Code, like I should do it in developer console because I have that fear. Like, can I do that? Like as an individual going into the VS Code,
Hmm.
all the things. Like if something, if I got stuck, even I tried once, but I got stuck and I came out of that developer console again. But it's way better. Like all the tools that I used in the cohort, like that actually helped me how to think as a developer. So it's not just about learning, but think about a developer is something that benefited me to get a job.
Nice. And then for your job right now, are you feeling confident with any tasks that you get thrown your way, or because this is your first developer, Salesforce developer role, right? So how are you kind of feeling in
Yeah.
it?
What are the practices that are being followed in the cohort? Like, for example, trigger handler, a trigger framework. In the current job that I'm working, they're using trigger framework. I'm not foreign to that. Like, I got used to that when I'm actually in the Cloud Code Academy code itself. So, I'm like not LWC that much complex things, but I'm learning that. So, what are the apex things? Like, I can easily deal with them. I have that confidence, and even if I'm stuck somewhere, I have enough resources to go back and revise things and come back and provide a solution for that.
Nice. So I'm curious on the other end too, right? We've talked about a bunch of cool things that you've learned in the program. Like for people who are potentially thinking about joining, what is some advice that you have for them on either preparing or getting in the right developer mindset? What would you recommend to them?
We had to cover all the bases, like as the cohort suggests, like becoming a developer in terms of being attentive in the class, not just just join in the call. Like it used to happen sometimes, like when we are busy sometimes, like But think we are paying for this. Like I count myself this as a good thing, and then I make sure all my schedules are aligned according to it, so that like nothing comes in this time. So I plan my days and my weeks accordingly. So that should be for sure. Like you have to be attentive during the call because they're going to whatever the things that they're going to say, everything is valuable. You have to grab
Hmm.
it. You have to take notes and practice every like problems or whatever it is being provided, and also follow the assignments, submit them, and like the tutors, like they're just three or four bunch of people who will be teaching all on the like cohort. So we should be keep following up them. Like if if you're getting some late response or something like that, that's something you have to be very proactive. If you want to really become a good developer, so we shouldn't be limiting ourselves with whatever we are doing in the cohort. So we should be advancing ourselves. Like developer docs, they are really amazing. Everything is available for
Yeah.
free. Like what are the topics that you discussed, like be it loops or be it DML operations, everything. So for the best practices and all, go back to the developer docs and then like just go through that and you can recall what actually discussed in the call. And if you find something contradictive, you should ask for help for sure. One good thing that I found is like they being the tutors like Tony, Chase, Brooks, they being senior developers, they never hesitated saying that they are fault. They have like they are wrong sometimes. So they always admit if there is something from their end and they'll try to correct for all the people like who are in the court. Hey, this is something that we thought. No, this is not the way. Sales was updated this recently, so follow this. So that's really amazing. So you have to be proactive in all ways.
Yeah, I think that's super funny because there's multiple times when I'm teaching a cohort where it's like the documentation has changed, where maybe a limit has been updated, and there is that humility and understanding from the instructor side where it's like, we want to give you all the tools that you need to figure out this stuff on your own, to think like a developer, to solve these problems, where you're able to take something that's abstract or know where to find the solution for any of your problems, right? So we try to break it down that way and really teach you how to think like a dev, because to be honest,
Yeah,
like I don't remember a lot of the governor limits, right? I just know where to find them. I know
yeah,
how. I know there's a pattern, that we need
yeah.
to follow. Hmm.
So we have everything in hand. And one more thing to add to the last point is you keep practicing. So maybe you might not be finding enough problems on the cohort itself. So you have all the resources available. One such thing that I loved is Camp Effects, and I recently learned that Camp Effects and CCA are tying up to include that for the candidates, and that's really amazing. And we missed in our cohort, but I hope like whoever is willing to join, they have all the guns to play.
Yeah, just really giving you sometimes an overload of resources, but making sure that you know where to go to continue to practice, to build out your skills, and kind of the next steps on whatever it is in your journey, right? Whether it's PD1, getting a dev job, or getting that promotion from BA admin, and all of those things. We try to cater to multiple groups because anybody can learn this stuff, and it's important to learn it, but there are so many different branching paths that you can go down once you learn those fundamentals and those foundations. One of the big questions that a lot of people like to ask, right? Because this is a paid program. So, I want to get kind of your perspective. If the price of admission, joining the program, was that, did you get the value out of the program that you were looking for? I'd love to hear your thoughts on kind of the value to price ratio and things like that for joining the program.
Initially, I actually joined this cohort in February, but I was supposed to join in January before the cohort before this, but I was hesitant because of the price. At that point of time, I thought, but later was like when I see testimonials on Tony and all, like there are some results like that you guys are getting. So okay, that's fine. I have been spending a lot of money, but why not invest this? So I gave it a try. I didn't know much in and outs at that point of time. I went with that, but after coming in, I'm fully satisfied. Like I'm really happy with whatever the penny that I invested. So like I say that this is worth, and like since you guys are trying to add more things, so it's becoming more valuable, and it's balancing both the pricing and the value. So I don't even for a second hesitate to join this just because of the price. I'm totally in.
Yeah, I think there is like that investing in yourself aspect of things, right?
Yeah,
It's going to pay off in the end, especially, you go through this program, you learn all of this content, and then you get a job that's paying, 60, 70,
obviously.
$80,000 a year, right? It's a great investment if you want to look at it that way. And investing in yourself is, you're going to get the most ROI in any sort of investment, right? So it's great to hear that you found the value out of the program. We've seen really great results from many different people, and we're hoping to just continue to add on top of it. We've started doing the one-on-one help and mentorship for people, and trying to add in more office hours and workshops and guest speakers and things like that. So there's a lot more to come, and everybody that's an alumni will be included in all of those things and be able to access it. So it's going to be really cool and interesting. And right, Cloud Code is relatively young as a idea, as a company, so there's lots of room to grow and expand from there.
Yeah, exactly. Officers and then different channels for different windows. Like you have career channel, code help channel. Like you have everything available. So it's not going to go in vain until unless like you are completely adamant to learn. And one more thing is this is going to be a lifetime investment, like one time investment. You to become a Salesforce developer in the long run of your life. So once you get into that groove, so like you always try to get into the more development. So you don't go back to that win again. So it's a one time investment. That's how I see it.
Totally agree. I think that's kind of it, wrapping it up. I'd love to hear any like final thoughts that you have, or if you want to shout out anybody either in the cohort, or it could be your family, anybody that you think kind of helped through this journey, or that you want to give a shout out to. I'm all ears
Mm,
for it.
So one thing that I felt is like integrations and deliverability is something that I thought like is not there, like kind of like that I like. But since you're adding those also, that should be good enough for the people. And like when in our cohort, like it's 2 days per week class. If there is any kind of like doing 3 days, per week class, and including few more advanced topics also. Like maybe like you have to balance the curriculum against like because you are targeting completely new developers like who don't have any knowledge on X and all Salesforce. So you have to balance both. We shouldn't be going with the complete advanced again at the same time. So those are the few things that I would like to say. And yeah, a big shout out to the whole tutors like Tony, Chase, yourself, and Brooks, and few other my colleagues, Riley, and then like we have Oksana, Tyler, my capstone people like my team. They are really good, and we have one more guy, Naga. I didn't fully remember his name, Naga Subramaniam something. So he's also a great, like colleague like, who helped me whenever I need help. And yeah, it's really good team, and I found good friends actually with this talk. I'm really
Awesome.
happy with it.
That's really great, and I love those shout outs, and I love doing these testimonials because you hear a lot of what it was like going through the program and the community that you've kind of built around you to help push you through and guide yourself through the program. Some other things, kind of rounding things out, right? You kind of mentioned, you want to see LWCs, you want to see integrations. Well, hopefully by the time somebody's watching this, those programs will actually be launched because we're actually working on additional programs inside of Cloud Code beyond just the fundamentals in the developer kickstart program. Definitely leave a comment down below if you're interested, or just hit us up on LinkedIn. Message Raghavendra on LinkedIn as well to hear more of his thoughts, or if you have specific questions. And of course, myself, you can always catch me there, and tons of links down below. So Raghavendra, thank you so much for joining and talking through your experience in Cloud Code. I really appreciate the sentiment and your honest answers and giving people some ideas of what it's like to go through the program, right? Because that's a lot of the
Yeah,
big hurdles, and I can talk about it a ton, but you're actually somebody who went through it, so I really appreciate their
yeah.
time.
Okay. I just want to add one more point here.
Sure.
So, whenever the cohort actually kicked off, it's not just about like from day one we'll be start learning. So we got materials, to becoming all the fundamentals that we should be learning. It's not must have. It's all like they are like good to have things. All the CS50, then few of other things, the fundamentals that we should be going on. They are amazing. That I didn't find those materials in any of the other cohorts or any of the development programs.
Hmm.
They are really helpful. They might be ignored like CS50. Maybe it's not completely on Salesforce. It is just on the developer perspective. But I started learning, like watching it. Like I keep watching them even now. David, that guy is amazing.
Yeah, I love that course, and I really want everybody. It's long, right? It's like a whole another couple weeks. But if you're
Yeah,
watching that and kind of going through it, you will really start to understand how things work under the hood, and then you can apply that to a lot of Salesforce development. So I don't know if it was around when you started, but talking about iterating on the program, right? We've taken all of those kind of like pre-work and additional things like Camp Apex to really get you in the mindset of a dev, and move that to the
mhm.
Salesforce Dev 101 course, which is totally free.
Cool.
Anybody can grab it. And that's a great way to get started, really dip your feet into development, and then work your way either into the developer kickstart program or some of just understanding if this is the right path for you. So great shout out there as well. Like CS50 and the Salesforce Dev 101 are awesome resources for anybody looking to just start to understand programming a little bit more.
Yeah. So they can. I think it is available free for everyone. They can just go and visit that, and they can see how the taste of the cohort will be like, and it's all up to them.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much again for all of your time and your feedback. I know everybody's going to appreciate it. And I hope to see you soon, a couple years from now in your big fancy developer job and all of that stuff. It's going to be fun to watch your career over time.
Yeah, sure. I love to be part of the team. Even I love teaching. One fine day, if I get an opportunity, I love to be part of the CCA.
Yeah. Awesome. We'll see
Yeah.
it. We'll make it happen.